Now that our cat's doing what cats do and throwing things around, let's make it so that our cat bombs actually damage the player and then figure out how we can pool them so we can keep that performance benefit that we got when we did it with our blasters. We don't end up with an unlimited number of cat bombs after half an hour or so. So let's stop playing, and we're going to start by modifying our cat bomb script. So we'll go find our cat bomb script in the scripts folder. And the first thing we're going to want to do is damage our player on a collision. So let's expand out or zoom in our code just a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of code right below. It's an on collision enter 2D. So I'll start typing on collision enter 2D. And then I'm going to get rid of that private keyword. And finally, search for the player on our collisions game object. So I'll say var player equals collision dot game object dot get component. And it's going to autocomplete and let me get the player. So we want to see if there's a player there. If the player is not equal to null, then I want to first just disable or destroy my cat bomb. Let's start by just destroying our game object. So we'll destroy our own cat bomb and we'll tell our player to take some damage. So we'll call the player.takeDamage method that takes in, remember, that vector2 of our normal so that it can knock us back if we want it to. We'll give it the collision dot contacts at index 0 dot normal. That's going to allow our player to take damage whenever our player gets hit by a cat bomb. Let's go try that out now. So wait for Unity to tab over. We should be able to press play with no scene changes and see the cat bombs fly over and hopefully knock our player back, cause some damage. Let's see. There we go. And I can go past it, duck underneath, and it'll keep rolling and going on forever and ever. Now, obviously, we don't want bombs rolling around nonstop, and we want to clean those things up. And since we're already using pooling, and we know about pooling systems, it should be pretty easy to tie this in and use our pooling system for our cat's bombs. So let's do that. Let's open up our cat script. And then let's change the parts where we're spawning the cat bomb to instead pull from our pool manager. So instead of saying cat bomb equals instantiate cat bomb prefab, let's say cat bomb equals pool manager dot instance dot get cat bomb. Now I'm going to add some braces here, and after we get the cat bomb, we'll just set our transform to our launcher's position, or our launcher's we'll set our transform's parent to our fire point. That's the wording. So say catbomb.transform.setParent, and we're going to set it to be equal to our fire point so that our cat bomb gets parented underneath that fire point. Once we get it back, we're not getting anything back right now. And then the other thing that we're going to want to do is set our transform position. So let's say catbomb.transform, I cannot spell, dot local position equals vector3.0. Now we need to generate a get cat bomb method and make that actually give us a cat bomb. So let's hit Alt Enter, hit generate method, and then hit F12, and we should get an internal method called get cat bomb. Let's change this to be public, and then we're going to replace the throw exception with returning something from our cat bomb pool. So in fact, let's just cut out the code right here, all of it, and do an expression body method. We'll say underscore cat bomb pool dot get. We're just going to return something back from a cat bomb pool. We don't have a cat bomb pool though, so we're probably going to need to figure out how to create one. Let's scroll up to the top and take a look. So remember when we created our blaster shot pool, we created a new method that returned back out the blaster shot. And then when we did the blaster impact explosion pool, we did the same thing but without creating a method. Instead, we just use this lambda statement here that returns back the shot and gives us the object and does the setting of the pool. What we can do for our cat bomb pool is the same as what we have for our blaster impact explosion pool. We'll just change the type. Instead of using the more generic return to pool, we're going to use a cat bomb type because we actually have a type for this and we want to use that. We don't want to keep it generic, and we don't need to add the return to pool onto it either. We use that for things that don't already have a script that can deal with their own life cycle and pooling. So let's copy lines 24 through 32. I'm actually just going to, let's select it and hit Control D, duplicate it. I'll click right here or hit the left arrow and hit enter. And then we're going to replace Blaster Impact Explosion Pool with Cat Bomb Pool. And replace Return to Pool with Cat Bomb, because that's our type in the object pool. Now we need to change out the thing that we're instantiating and the pool that we're setting. So I'm going to take cat bomb pool and pass it in here for the thing that we're going to set the pool to. And instead of instantiating a blaster impact explosion prefab, let's instantiate a cat bomb prefab. Now we're going to need to create all of these objects or all of these fields. So I'll hit Alt Enter and we'll generate a field for cat bomb prefab. And then I'll hit Alt Enter and generate a field for cat bomb pool. I'll hit F12 and go to them and give them the correct types. So this should be an object pool of type cat bomb. In fact, you know what I'll do is just copy this cat bomb pool, put it onto my clipboard, duplicate the blaster impact explosion pool with Control D, and then paste right over that. Hit Control X and remove that line. Now for the cat bomb prefab, I'm going to do the same thing. I'll take line 10, duplicate it, copy cat bomb prefab, paste it over, Control X on line 16, and then change the return to pool here to be cat bomb. I also need to change that in my cat bomb pool line here on line 15 so that it's returning back a cat bomb as well. Now if I scroll down, we should see that everything works except for there's no set pool method on the cat bomb itself. So we're going to need to add that by hitting Alt Enter and generating the method. I'll hit F12, we'll go to it, and here we'll just cache our pool by saying underscore pool equals cat bomb pool, just like we've done before. We'll hit home, Alt Enter, and generate a field for it. So now we've got our pool there saved off and cached. And the final thing we need to do is, instead of destroying our object, just return it to the pool. So we'll say pool.release, and we want to pass in this. Now we could, of course, have the scenario where we hit the player more than once, just like we had with our blaster shot, and we could theoretically hit two players at the same time or something else. And in that case, we don't want to re-release our pool object. We might still want to cause a player to take damage from more than one bomb though. So we should add the check for if we've exploded as well. So here I'll say if exploded equals false, then we'll set exploded to true and do our pool release. We'll hit Alt Enter, generate a field for our cat bomb, and then we'll set exploded equal to false in our launch method. So here we'll say exploded equals false. I'm going to save and we're going to do a build, and this is almost going to work, but we're going to notice an issue. Let's go take a look at it. All right, we'll play and watch the cat here. There we go. So there's the grenade. You might notice something already. The bomb there is a little bit big. And now look at this one. Now it's spinning and falling down to the ground. So we've got two problems here. First off, we have an issue with the scale. So why is the scale of this grenade bigger than it was before? Why is it, or this bomb, why does it look double the size? The reason for that is that before, when we were spawning it, we were instantiating it underneath this animator object as a child way down here. So its scale was actually coming down scaled in half so that it would kind of match up with our object. If we look at, oops, pause, I died. If we look at it again, though, let's go take a peek. Let's watch one. I'm going to go back into the sandbox. What we'll see is that the scale of that object is actually doubled up now when it spawns. Let's go check it out. So we see the cat bomb spawned, and it's now a scale of 2. When it gets removed, it goes to, it looks like it's at a 1. But here you can see it's at a 2 and then goes to a 1. Again, that's because we're spawning it outside at its normal size and then making it a child, which is making the relative scale look bigger. Let's go take a look at our cat bomb real quick, drag that out into the scene and see what it looks like. See how much bigger that is? That's the problem. So what we need to do first to fix the cat bomb is go down to the base object and just scale this down to 0.5 and 0.5. We can change the Z, may as well, and then save it off. We'll go to our prefab, up one level, hit overrides and apply all, delete out that cat bomb, press play, and now we should see that our cat bomb looks correct. It at least looks like it's the right size. We're still going to see the issue though with the animation. So let's watch it. It shoots off, looks good. Shoots off, looks good. The next one though is just spinning, and the rigid body is making it drop and kind of fall down a little bit. So we need to figure out what's going on there. And let's leave this as a little challenge. Go ahead and see if you can figure out how to fix this issue. It's not very difficult. You're going to need to add in one method and move a little bit of code around. So go ahead and try to figure that out. And then once you're done, or if you get stuck, resume on and we'll go through the solution. All right, I'll assume that you're ready to go through the solution. And let's take a look at what the problem is. If we look at our cat, when we spawn bombs, we call into our getCatBomb method, and our getCatBomb method calls into our catbombpool.get. So it's just returning back an object from our catbomb pool. When we return back an object from our catbomb pool, we do this line of code right here. This is the, let's get the autocomplete here. This is the on action get. If you see your pop-up, mine's a little bit off screen. This is the action that we're firing off on get. We're setting the object to true or enabled to true. And when we destroy it, we set it to not true. If we look at our cat bomb though, when does our cat bomb turn on and off its animator? Well, it turns off the animator and the simulation in awake. It turns them on in launch, which is perfectly fine, but in awake, it's turning these things off. So what we need to do is simply add an on disable. And in the, or no, an on enable, I said on disable. On enable, so that when the object gets re-enabled, our simulation for the rigid body gets set to false so that we stop it dropping and moving and using physics, and our animator gets turned off as well. So we've moved both of those into on enable, delete out this extra bit of code or extra white space and that extra private keyword and these extra private keywords as well. Get it nice and cleaned up, and it should look just like this. I'm actually going to change this internal to public as well. All right, so with that, we should be able to save, go back into Unity, and now see our cat bomb acting exactly as we expect and using pooling. Let's go check that out. So there's our cat. He's got his bomb. It goes flying. You can see the cat bomb right there. Cat bomb got reused. Looks like they're getting reused properly. If I come over here and duck, they'll just keep going out and out and out and out. Just get more and more cat bombs. Looking like we got lots and lots of bombs. So the last thing that I want to do is make it so that our cat bombs actually clean themselves up. So we can do that by going back into our cat bomb script. Let's go find it real quick. And inside of the on enable, we'll just do an invoke to disable ourselves or return ourselves to the pool. So we'll do an invoke, return to pool, and then we'll give it a delay or an amount of time. And I'm thinking that we should probably make this a variable. So let's call this max lifetime. Add in a semicolon and generate a variable for our max lifetime. The max lifetime should be a float and it needs to be a serialized field. And I'm going to give it a value of about 5. We'll cut it, move it right up here by the force amount. And then, for our invoke, we need to actually generate the method for return to pool and put name of around it because invoke takes a string name. We'll hit alt enter, and do I have a return to pool method? Oh no, it's looking for the class. We'll add in a void return to pool. And in here, we're just going to say pool.release this. Now we only want to do the return to pool if we haven't exploded. So let's do a check to make sure that we haven't exploded too. say if exploded is equal to false, pool.release this, and we actually need to set exploded equal to true. So here you might notice that this bit of code that we have in return to pool is exactly what this bit of code is. So let's just call return to pool. Whoops, only once, not twice. We'll save, build, and now we've got a final version that should launch out our projectiles, have them live for whatever time we've specified on the projectiles prefab that pulls from our pool manager. Let's go see it. So here we go. There's our cat. Our cat launches out some shots. You can see those little cat bombs flying off, and they're getting reused. They're getting reset. They're no longer dropping to the ground, and everything is animating properly. All right, this one took a little while, but we've got a lot in here. So let's go into plastic. So we added pooling to cat bombs. Pooling and damage. There we go. And check it in. Oh, definitely save the scene first.